am the Irish guy, and I just want to make this very clear. I love Lionel Messi. I'm not like that angry speed creature, that young gentleman who would clearly chop off his foot with a fork to even get a sniff of Ronaldo's toothbrush. I'm not someone who has a strange vendetta against this legitimate alien of a footballer. I don't lie awake every night wishing that Messi would stand in a mouse trap. I'm not one of these strange little creeps. I mean, I'm someone who did an entire video with shepherd's pie dripping off my face. Clearly, I have no problems with Messi, but he just lived to the 8th Ballon d'Or of his career at the age of 36. And I have to say, no. The Ballon d'Or is supposed to be the greatest award ceremony on earth. An absolutely sparkling, glittery night. Unlike the Hollywood ones, you're not going to have Sergio Ramos storming up on stage, slapping Didier Drogba and demanding he stay away from his wife. This is normally a classy, wonderful affair. Even if Jeremy Lynch was once the pre-awards entertainment, just doing arrogant keepy-uppies on stage, whilst the likes of Totti and Kaka were trying to tuck into their soup. But I'm sorry, Messi winning this award is a farce. Stuck in the fact that big internet know-it-all Fabrizio Romano literally ruined everybody's night by revealing he won the thing 12 hours before. It just made everything so pointless. I love Romano for transfer rumors, but he's just a massive spoiler. Like that mean nerd who walks out of the final Harry Potter film telling everybody else in the queue for the next showing that Snape gets eaten by a snake. Yeah, those geeks are probably now going to start weeping into their popcorn burst. But lads, I'm not saying that the Ballon d'Or has always been accurate. I mean, Michael Owen won in 2001 after a season he scored less Premier League goals than Callum Wilson last year. Thierry Henry lined up for the 2003 Ballon d'Or off the back of 42 goals and 26 assists in a calendar year, and he was forced the indignity of losing it to Pavel Nedved. A great midfielder, sure, but 18 months later, his club Juventus would be relegated for cheating. And yeah, he's now in his 50s and suspended from football for 8 months. So I'm not accusing Juventus of paying off the judges, but let's just say I wouldn't be surprised if the chairman had been promising to sneak them a free pie if they voted for Nedved. But both Messi and Ronaldo being absolute super freaks has sort of made it easier over the years. There's rarely been a winner that didn't deserve it, but I'm sorry, this award was not for a calendar year. This was for last season. From August 1st, 2022 to 31st of July, 2022. I mean, Messi's season at PSG was good. A lot better than his flop debut season when he scrambled in just 6 league goals in what was supposed to be a farmers league. People were predicting he'd be netting 50 goals a year. In the same way City blokes down the pub probably thought Tyson Fury would be giving Francis Ngannou brain damage inside the second round. Honestly, some diehard Fury fanatics believed Ngannou picking half his teeth off the canvas before the second bell. But Messi's second season at PSG was fine. 16 league goals and 16 assists in 32 league games. That is directly contributing to 1 goal a game. He chalked up 4 assists and 4 goals in 7 Champions League matches. And oh yeah, he squeezed in 3 goals into Miami before the deadline cutoff. Great, but we all know why you're giving him the Ballon d'Or. It's for helping Argentina win the World Cup. I'm sorry, but no. This is an award for an entire year of football, not 7 games of footy before Christmas. It's always so unfair when players are given this trophy based on 1 World Cup. When that sort of brain-dead decision happens, it sort of makes me want to sneeze out my brain. The last centre-back to win this prize was a 33-year-old Fabio Cannavaro. Sure, he was an absolute defensive monster. That helped Italy win the 2006 World Cup. He played like an absolute giant. Despite being someone who doesn't seem much taller than a bin, he honestly looks so miniature. You could stick him in the front of a children's cereal box and nobody would really notice. He won that award based on keeping a clean sheet against Ghana, Czech Republic, Australia, and Germany. His actual club form in 2006 was, helping Juventus go unbeaten for the first half of 2006, helping them win Serie A. But that summer, they were stripped of that title. They were ruled to be massive cheats, and so were chucked into Serie B. Inter Milan were awarded that title. So if all those Juventus wins only happened because, refs were paid off, why are you still rewarding their centre-back? His second half of 2006 was just looking like a busted pumpkin, barely able to run at Real Madrid, just replacing Jonathan Woodgate, who would, quit the Bernabeu for a loan at Middlesbrough, which is a bit like cancelling your dream holiday at Disneyland to instead spend a week camping on a muddy field in Grimsby. Just sitting in a puddle, picking your condom out of your bowl of Cocoa Pops. Gianluigi Buffon finished second in that Ballon d'Or, and he spent the second half of 2006 playing in Serie B, Italy's version of the championship. Sure, he kept 7 clean sheets in a row against Crotone, Modena, Piacenza, Treviso, Triestina, Frosinone, and Brescia. I'm sorry, are these actual football teams or ingredients for spaghetti bolognese? Weirdly, Napoli were in that league too. There is no point pretending anymore. We know the Ballon d'Or is about 90% of what you did at the World Cup that year. That's clearly all that matters. back in 2006, Lucas Podolski scored in 6 Bundesliga matches for Cologne. He was then an absolute Bayern Munich flop for the second half of the year, having scored only 1 goal for them by Valentine's Day. But because he had an excellent World Cup for Germany, helping them reach the semi-final on home soil, 3 people actually voted for him to be the best player in the world. Who were these 3 people? And can we immediately excommunicate them to Alcatraz? I mean, Ruud van Nistelrooy scored 20 goals that year for Man United and Real Madrid. But because he had a nothing World Cup, he wasn't even invited as a nominee. Embarrassing. Zidane finished 5th that year, despite retiring halfway through. You're supposed to be judging for the full calendar year, and yet after July, he spent the rest of the year just touring Bangladesh on holiday, chilling in Algeria, and featuring in Family Guy, whilst also probably now waking up at noon, eating fried eggs and burgers. It is all about the World Cup. I think the Brazilian Ronaldo, R9, he was lucky to win this award in 2002. Yes, he was spectacular at the World Cup that sub, scoring 8 times, including 2 in the final. Fine. Give him the golden boot. Make him the player of the tournament. But his 2002 was nowhere near the best in the world. He'd missed the first half of it at Inter Milan through injury. He played 4 Serie A matches in 2002. He moved to Spain in the summer and scored 5 goals before Christmas. He won the Ballon d'Or and he scored 7 league goals all year and 0 Champions League goals. I mean, really, in his final season at Inter, you know what monster European tie he had? He played against Ipswich Town. He was being man-marked by Titus Bramble, someone with the footballing ability of Pennywise the Clown, with what, a 10-year-old Ed Sheeran excitedly watching on the couch. I mean, you can't have it both ways. If we're going to give this based on World Cup, then why did Messi win it in 2010, ahead of Andres Iniesta, who scored the winner in a World Cup final? The Ballon d'Or is so heavily focused around the World Cup in World Cup years. Luka Modric won this thing in 2018 because Croatia reached the final. Yeah, Messi recorded 47 goals and 23 assists in just 49 matches for Barca that year, and he somehow finished 5th. What? In 2010, Darren Bent scored 23 goals for Sunderland and England. He wasn't even close to being nominated. But Miroslav Klose, a good World Cup showing for Germany that year, yes, but he was up for this award after 4 Bundesliga goals for Bayern all year long. How is that fair? Employing him to score you goals at club level back in 2010 was a bit like there being a fire in a building, and so instead of the fire brigade, you ring up JLS? Paul Pogba finished 15th at the Ballon d'Or, whilst at Manchester United. The same year, his ugly, disinterested performances cost Mourinho his job. Hands up. Can anybody remember Pogba at any point while a Manchester United employee ever being the 15th best player in the world? No. It's only because he turned it on for a month with France. Croatian striker Davor Suker finished as a Ballon d'Or runner-up in 1998 because he won the World Cup Golden Boot, while at club level, he was a sub. He scored in 7 games for Real Madrid all year long, struggling to get past Fernando Morientes into the team, and was probably terrified of a 17-year-old Samuel Eto'o, probably outshining him in training sessions. And yet he was voted 2nd best player in the world? What? 2 people voted for El Hadj Diouf to be crowned the world's best player in 2002, and he went on to play for Bolton, Sunderland, Blackburn, Rangers, Doncaster, Leeds, and some Malaysian pub team. Enough said. We live in a world where a nearly 40-year-old man playing in the MLS has been crowned the best player in the world. Do you not see something a little wrong with that? He's the oldest Ballon d'Or winner since Stanley Matthews in 1956, when he was 41 and playing for Blackpool. Honestly, that guy's entire career consisted of Stoke, Blackpool, and Toronto on loan. It just stunk of Charlie Adams' CV. And yet he was crowned the best player in the world in his 40s, just 9 years before his 50th birthday? What? Yeah, it sounded a bit like Scooby-Doo. Lads, he was an attacking player, and yet the year he won the Ballon d'Or, he scored 3 goals from the wing. 3. When you factor in the levels of elite modern coaching, the lack of smoking and beer swilling an hour before kickoff, when you factor in how different football was in the 50s to the ultra-disciplined sport now, that I'm telling you, a 41-year-old Matthews would be playing in non-league. I mean, someone like the current version of Andros Townsend, just an average plodding potato, but with still fairly solid professional standards and discipline. He's a better player than Ballon d'Or winning Matthews. Am I being disrespectful? How many 41-year-old wingers do you see in the Premier League? Am I being silly for saying that the Ballon d'Or winner, that version of him, would not hold a candle to modern Jacob Murphy? Erling Haaland should have won this award. Just like Francis Ngannou and Dejan Lovren last week, that man was robbed. Come on, it's based over last season. He scored 52 goals in 53 games and literally lifted the treble. In his debut season at Man City, it's one of the greatest seasons of all time. Arguably, the greatest debut campaign anyone has ever had. How did he not win the award? You're punishing him because he plays for Norway. That's it. I mean, what? Because he was born in Leeds. If he had declared for England and then ripped up the World Cup in Qatar, would you then be giving him the prize? It's not fair to award this to Messi based on 1 month's work. Let's not forget, he's had a really fun summer for Inter Miami, ripping it up in the League's Cup, scoring in all 7 rounds, winning the final on penalties against Nashville. But don't forget, he's still stuck in just 1 lonely goal in the actual MLS, and most recently limped around the pitch in drab 1-0 defeats to Cincinnati and Charlotte. Ballon d'Or winner? Really? There were a few weird calls this year. Seeing Aston Villa's goalie finish ahead of Karim Benzema, who banged in 31 goals for Real Madrid, based on club form alone. Emiliano Martinez kept 11 clean sheets for Aston Villa. 11. 2 less than Nick Pope. Julian Alvarez had a quality debut season for Man City, yeah. 17 goals in all competitions, but 7th? 7th best player in the world? Someone who can't get into the Man City team. 4 places ahead of Mo Salah, who just did a 30-goal season for Liverpool. I think the Ballon d'Or was wrong. They got it all wrong. It centered too much around the World Cup. The World Cup should count for a 12th of the year. It's just 1 month. It's international tournaments too. Milan Barros and Angelos Kavastasis were absolute nobody strikers at club level in 2004. Just 5 goal season centre forwards for Werder Bremen, Ajax and Liverpool. But because they both turned it on at Euro 2004 for a month, they finished with more votes than Samuel Eto'o, a 30-goal season Barcelona monster. Theodoros Zacharakis finished 5th. If he really was the 5th best player in the world in 2004, he wouldn't have finished 4th in the Greek league with AEK Athens before getting relegated with Ballon. Stop the international tournament for Rory. Haaland deserved the Ballon d'Or. Sorry, Leo. Anyway, that's it for what do you. Let me know in the comments what do you think. Let me know in the comments below what do you think. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to give it a like, subscribe as always. I'll talk to you in a while.